everyone, I am so excited about today's video because today I am sharing with you a bathroom reveal. If you follow me on Instagram, you're probably thinking, but I already know what the bathroom looks like. There's already been a bathroom reveal on Instagram. Yes, that's true, but in this video I'm actually going to be talking a bit more in depth about our bathroom reno, the process, the journey, talking you through as well like the fittings, the fixtures, everything that we chose, just in more detail. If you are going through a renovation or if you're planning a renovation, anything like that, hopefully this video will come in handy and actually be quite useful and informative for you. So our bathroom is a fairly small bathroom, to be honest with you. I actually think we ended up almost reducing a bit of the space during our renovation, but it has everything you need in here. You know, it's got a bathtub, it's got a sink or basin, vanity, whatever you want to call it, and a toilet, which in my opinion are the essentials to have in a bathroom. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm really happy with how it looks, and yeah, I thought finally it's time to share it with you. Starting with tiles, because that, in my opinion, is the hardest decision to make when it comes to any sort of renovation, is making the big decisions that you're pretty much stuck with. I knew it needed to be something that would have longevity, that wasn't necessarily too trend-led or too trend-focused. I wanted it to be something that was versatile and would also stand the test of time. And to me, that ended up being neutrals. The tiles are from the Yorkshire Tile Company. I actually worked with them on this project, which I am so grateful and thankful to them for working with me on this, because they really helped me bring my vision to life. For my floor tiles, these are the sandstone white from Yorkshire Tile Company. I love these. I knew I wanted something a bit like almost industrial feeling. Initially I thought about maybe like a sort of concrete look or something like that, just to be a bit more like rough around the edges and not so like clean and pristine. But then I came across the sandstone tiles from the Yorkshire Tile Company and I thought they were perfect for the space. They really fit the brief really well. They were a little bit lighter, so not too dark for this room, because where it's a small bathroom, I wanted everything to be quite light, quite bright and quite airy. They're definitely a bit more like natural looking, a bit more earthy looking, and I really love that about them. For grout on our floor tiles, we went for a light grey because I didn't want it to be too heavily contrasting. Like, I didn't want anything too dark. So in the end, we went for a light grey, which I think looks really beautiful with these tiles and works so beautifully with them. So these are 120 centimetres by 60 centimetres. So they're big. Obviously, where we have quite a small bathroom, we didn't actually have to use that many of them, which was great. But also, we ended up, I feel like it ended up creating quite a large space. It gives the illusion of bigger space because the tiles are bigger. It just gives you that illusion that the space is therefore bigger. They are definitely like large for the space, but like I said, I do think that they end up like balancing out quite nicely, because then on the contrary, my wall tiles are 30 centimetres long. I knew I wanted something similar to like a metro style, I suppose, but I feel like the metro is somewhat overdone now and I didn't really want to go for like the classic metro white tile. So I went for the Mass Blanco tile, again from Yorkshire Tile Company. These are a gloss finish. You see how the light sort of like reflects so beautifully against these tiles, and because they were white, I was really worried that it would be just a little bit too blinding in here. But I'm so happy I went for the gloss finish because I absolutely love how it looks. I mean, on a day like today, it's actually the weirdest day today. It's a real spring day. We've had spring showers and now it's really sunny. It's just been, the weather has been all over the place, so it really shows throughout this room. But I love how it looks. I love how the light bounces off the tiles. I really do think these tiles look so beautiful in here. We went for full wall tiles on the bath section, so this wall and then the wall with the shower head on it as well. Both of those are full wall tiles. And then for the rest of the bathroom, so in front of me, which is where the vanity is, the mirror is, the toilet next to me, and then the wall to my right, all of these only have half tiles. We went up to about 120, I want to say, or slightly higher. We measured it by tile so that we wouldn't have to cut the tiles in the half tiles. So for the half tile wall, we have 4 upwards. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, so 120 height. And then again, behind me, also half tile. So here there's like a little nook, which you can't really tell in this light, but there's a little nook here. So here we have full tile, but then here we have half tile. And I really like that. I knew I didn't want full tile for the whole bathroom, but obviously a full tile is quite practical in the shower and bath space. But for the rest of the bathroom, I decided on half tiles because where I've already mentioned, our bathroom is very neutral. It's very like white and black, a bit monochromatic as well. So I figured if I change my mind or if I want to make any changes in the bathroom, a really easy way to do that will be to paint the remaining wall that's on show basically, so like the half wall. And I think that's a really nice option to have, whereas changing tiles is probably something I'm not going to do in this house like ever again. So having the option of still injecting colour in a different way is great. So that was definitely something that sort of influenced me to go for the half tile, and I just generally like how it looks, to be honest with you. So for our wall tiles we went with white grout. And I'm so happy we went for white grout actually. I think it really it makes the room look so much bigger and brighter, which is exactly what I wanted to achieve in my bathroom. And not only that, I think these tiles, if you look at them up close, they're kind of textured. So they're not like straight or flat tiles. They're not perfect. They kind of have these imperfections and just texture to them, which I personally really love about the tiles. And I think with a darker grout it would be a little more obvious, and for our bathroom that just isn't what I wanted. I wanted it to be quite calm and quite tranquil, so I feel like with this particular tile and the white grout it definitely does that so beautifully in my opinion. So then let's talk about the light in this room, because I absolutely love how light and how bright it looks in here. And we have 2 windows, so a large window to my left and a smaller window to my right. They're quite odd, they're mismatched. They are not even at the same height, they're not the same size, they are completely different windows. And the reason for that is that previously we had 2 separate rooms for our bathroom. So we had the sink and the bathtub in one room, and then there was actually a partition wall. So right where I'm standing there would have been a partition wall here, separating the toilet from the bathtub and the sink. And that was something we knew we wanted to knock down from the get-go. It was a partition wall, it was with cinder blocks, so that was one of the first tasks when it came to doing our bathroom renovation. That wall came down as soon as it could. And once that wall came down, we were left with the 2 different windows. And we did actually contemplate closing one, although I don't actually know if I ever contemplated it, to be honest with you. I feel like a lot of people told me that that would be a better option, like closing one of the windows, because they look so weird, they're not the same size, it's just a bit weird, a lot of window in here. But number one, I didn't want the extra cost of having to close a window, to be completely honest with you, having to like brick it up. I was like, no, too much work, I don't want the extra work or the extra to have to spend the extra money. But number 2, the light that this gives is so beautiful. Directly outside of the door is our hallway, and when it's like a beautiful sunny day and this door's open, this little window, which is where my camera is perched on at the moment, this little window lets in so much light into our corridor and even into this room. And I'm just so glad we didn't brick it up or just get rid of it, because I really do feel like I would have had major regrets about it. It lets in so much light, it's so beautiful, it makes the whole bathroom really light and airy. So we did keep both of these, despite being different sizes, different, like just so different next to each other. I actually don't mind it, and I do think it's almost like a quirk of the house, like something original that was, you know, already there and actually is a really nice feature, I guess. So then let's talk bathtub. I knew I wanted a bathtub. I know that bathtubs aren't as popular anymore. A lot of people are choosing showers over bathtubs these days, because I guess you just save so much in terms of space, and people love a shower over a bath. I am a bath girl. I think I'd be really sad if I moved into a house and had no bathtub to have a bath in. There's nothing better, in my opinion, than soaking in a bath in the winter, like on a cold evening with like some candles on. I just think it's like the ultimate bliss level. So I needed a bathtub. I didn't go for anything fancy. Again, I've never done a bathroom renovation before, so I just assumed every bathtub was the same. I was wrong, because I do not like our bathtub. I don't know how to describe it, honestly. Like, it has the width there, but the actual, you know, like tub section is quite thin. It just feels like such a small space, which I guess is good if you want to have a bath and like save water, I suppose, because you're not filling in so much space around you. But it really is something that annoys me. I will be honest about that. But it was just a bathtub from Selco. It was relatively inexpensive, I think like around £200. I think it's an acrylic bathtub. I don't know much about bathtubs, but it's nothing fancy. It's literally just a standard tub. We have the tiles on the front panel as well. We initially thought about just doing like, you know, the plastic white panel to cover it, but in the end we had a few extra tiles, so it was enough for us to panel the front of the bathtub, which I'm so happy with. I feel like it really does add a sense of luxury to the space. I was gonna say adds a sense of luxe to the space, and then that didn't make sense, so I had to carry on in luxury, and then it just sounded weird. But anyway, and then with our fixtures and fittings, these are from Colebrook, and I love them. I really love them. We went for brushed nickel, just in between like stainless steel or chrome, and in between brass, like gold basically. For me, stainless steel I don't love. I don't think I've ever loved stainless steel. I just think it's a bit like, it's just a bit boring, I guess, just a little bit basic, I suppose. So I didn't really want to go for that. But then with brass / gold, I equally didn't want to go for gold, and I love gold. I love gold jewelry, I love gold hardware, but I think that sometimes in like taps and things, it can sometimes be a bit too yellow, and I didn't want to end up with anything looking a bit too yellow, because then I think it's kind of hard to style around it. So when I saw brushed nickel, I thought, oh my gosh, I think this is it. And I'm so happy we went for brushed nickel in the end. We have obviously the shower sort of fixture thing is brushed nickel, our bathtub taps brushed nickel, and then our main tap is also brushed nickel, and I love it. It's exactly what I wanted. It's in between a stainless steel and a brass. It's got that kind of like antique brass look to it, and we've got a lot of antique brass around our house, so I think it all like ties in together really seamlessly. It's got almost like a bit of a brown tinge to it, as opposed to being like a very yellow gold. It's definitely got more of like a muted brown tone, which I like, a bit more neutral, I guess. But I'm so happy with that. I really do love how they look. I just feel like they completely complete the look. For our hand basin next, I wanted to add a bit of texture into the room, because it was looking like just very monochrome, very black and white, like not too much in terms of textures. So I decided to go for something with a wood look and a wood feel to it. And I looked on Victorian Plumbing in the end, and I came across this wall hanging unit. A friend of mine did actually give me that tip, saying that when you have a smaller bathroom, it's good to have something that is actually wall hung, because when you see more of the floor, it gives, again, the illusion of a bigger room. So that's what we went for in the end. We went for a wall hung unit, and I'm really happy with it actually. We have quite a large sink, which I really like. In the sink, it's literally the whole width of the basin, which is great. And then it has 2 drawers. I was a little bit worried about storage space and thinking that potentially having a wall mounted unit would sort of not give us much space, but luckily it does have a lot of storage space, which I'm very happy with. It's got 2 drawers, but both really large drawers. And then where we have the floor space below that, obviously you can keep it open and clean, I suppose, but I decided to add in some baskets, and actually in those baskets we keep spare toilet roll. So it's not even super exciting. There isn't anything like very fun in those baskets, but obviously it's practicality. Like we need something that's practical, storage space, you know, the important things, I suppose. So we have those in 2 baskets underneath. They're just from IKEA, and they're really good actually. They fit the space so perfectly. It's almost like they were made to go under this wall unit, because they're such a good size. We have 2 of them, both exactly the same, and both with the same purpose of holding and storing extra toilet roll. Then we move on to our toilet, and I have nothing to say about a toilet. I mean, if you're after a toilet review, I'm sorry, I'm not the person for you. We have a standard toilet as far as I'm concerned. One thing I was recommended by the Yorkshire Tile Company team to do, which was so helpful, like I'm so happy they gave me this tip, was to replace the toilet fixings and fixtures to matte black ones, because as a default they come with stainless steel, and where there's no stainless steel in our bathroom, it would very likely look a little bit odd to then have a stainless steel like flush button. I was so grateful for that tip, because it seems like such a small tip, but it genuinely transforms this room in my opinion, because I really do think that if we had the stainless steel flush, albeit not a massive big deal, like not the end of the world, I do just think it would look a little less polished. So I really loved and appreciated that tip from the team at the Yorkshire Tile Company. We had such a mare trying to decide where to put a toilet roll holder, because we don't have a lot of wall space where our units are in line. So we have bathtub, sink, toilet. There isn't much wall space for you to then have things like a toilet roll holder. So we really struggled with the placement for this. We ended up going for it like slightly higher and just further ahead from our toilet. We almost measured this by our door. So our door opens into the toilet, and basically we put the toilet roll holder just past where the door opens, so that the door can still open all the way back and our toilet roll holder doesn't get in the way. But would you believe it? I mean, I wouldn't ever think that I'd be speaking this long about a toilet roll holder and its placement, but it really did leave us stumped. But it's in its pride of place now, and now that it's actually there and I don't necessarily think about it so much, it does actually make perfect sense. And talking about toilet roll holders, we also had a bit of a mare with trying to figure out where to put our towel, our hand towel as well, because as I mentioned, we don't have a lot of wall space. We didn't really want the hand towel hanging next to the toilet. We also didn't want it hanging like on top of the bathtub either. So in the end, after a bit of Googling and a bit of research, I ended up finding something for a completely different purpose. So I ended up finding a kitchen roll holder. It's a matte black design as well, sort of similar to the handles of our wall unit as well, because I wanted it to sort of all look nice together and cohesive. And we just drilled that into the unit, the wall unit, and so our towel, our hand towel, essentially just sits on the side of our basin, which is great. So it sits on the side closer to the bathroom, because again, as I mentioned, we didn't want it to be like close to the toilet, just germs and stuff. So it sits closer to our bathtub, but really good. You literally just like pick it up when you're done washing your hands, put it back, and it's worked out so well. A fairly recent addition to our bathroom as well has actually been a floating shelf above the toilet. Now I knew I wanted something above the toilet because it just felt a bit too like plain and a bit too bare. So we went for a light wood floating shelf just from IKEA, really inexpensive, I think like £3 or something. I would quite like to get some like prints and maybe artwork to put in here, because I do think that the room still feels really like just a bit too stark and not much like character in here yet. So I definitely do want to add in some prints and things, and I think it will be quite nice as like a little ledge for maybe some cute little prints, maybe like a candle, you know, something like that. But we did add that in very recently, but it still remains empty because I just don't know what to put on top of it. I'll talk about what's behind me now. So we have our towel heater. This is just a matte black towel heater. I don't have anything to say about a towel heater. It's a towel heater. It's great. We actually created a small little nook here when we did, you know, sort of like knock through the walls and just do a little bit of changes with the walls and stuff. We did end up creating a small nook here literally for our heater to slot into. It's just the perfect space for it, because then it doesn't come out and like eat out into the actual space. It's sort of like it's tucked away, and we usually keep our like bath towels and stuff on here, so it works out really nicely. And actually I just realized I forgot to talk about our bath screen. So we have a bath screen on our bathtub. This I got from Plum World or Plumbing World, and it's great. I'm actually really happy with it. It was one of the more affordable options because some of them were like over £100 and I just didn't want to spend that much money. So I think we got this for around 80 to 90 pounds. I think it might have been 89.99 or something like that, which I think was a really good price for it. It fits in really seamlessly. It again has the matte black like strip, which matches perfectly with the rest of our bathroom with the other matte black accents, and then because it's glass, it obviously still allows so much light to bounce across the room, which I really like. And then back onto this wall, we have this unit, which is an IKEA unit. I spotted this online, and then we went to the IKEA store to obviously try and buy it, and it was actually the last one in store in stock on that day. We were so lucky we managed to pick it up. I believe it's from a range called like Mostron or something, but I will link this and everything else that I've mentioned in the description box down below, by the way. So if there's anything I've mentioned and you want a link to it and you want more details, all of the details, links and description will be in the description box down below. So as I was saying, this is the Mostron. It's got this gorgeous like reeded glass, which I absolutely love. I think it looks so luxurious and so expensive. And then the rest of it is matte black. Inside there are some glass shelves, so this is where I'm hoping to store all of my beauty products. I think it will look so nice. If you compare this to how it looks on the website, you'll notice that it does actually have an additional shelf on the bottom, but our unit almost reaches the ceiling, so we got rid of that. So we ended up just sawing off the bottom and just keeping the cabinet section, which works really well for us and our bathroom. On to lights next. So we have 3 ball pendant. It's from Dunelm and I'm really happy with it. Obviously we had to go for like a bathroom like certified one, because you need like particular types of light bulbs, and it just needs to be safe. Obviously where it's electrics and water, it has to work for both. So we went for this one and I really love it. Again, we've got the matte black design detail around it, and then just the big white like globes, and there are 3 of those and I really like that. And I'm trying to think of what else there is to say. I don't want to forget anything. Oh, the mirror. The mirror gave me so much headache trying to find a mirror that I actually liked. I genuinely think I ordered like 8 different mirrors, no joke. So many, because I couldn't find something that I actually liked. I started off with sort of like asymmetric kind of shapes and like different sort of shapes, but then didn't love them. Then I ended up ordering just like smaller sort of asymmetric shapes, and then the small ones just looked really odd in here. They looked like they didn't fill the wall enough. As a last ditch attempt, I looked on B&Q and I thought, oh, do you know what, we need to order some stuff from B&Q. Let me just have a look at their mirrors. And I saw this one. It was actually a new mirror, so in my defense I probably hadn't seen it before because it was new. But I saw it, it said new, the measurements were like, oh, I was like, oh, it might be a little bit too big, but let's try it. So I asked my boyfriend to go and pick it up, and then he brought it home and I was like, this is it. Like, I love it. It's sort of like an oval or like pill shape, which I love. It's definitely long. I mean, I only see myself from like halfway in the mirror, and then the rest of it is just the rest of our bathroom. But I think it fills the space really beautifully, and I actually think it's worked really well. So I cannot tell you how thrilled I was when I finally found a mirror I liked. So here's the mirror. I'm in the middle of the mirror, and as you can see, there's a much thinner gap to the left compared to the right. It's much thicker on the right, but again, if you look compared to the 2 windows, obviously the windows aren't in line either. So the mirror is somewhere in the middle. Like, it's not as high as the mirror to the left, but it's also not as low as the mirror to the right. It sort of gives the more like staircase effect, which I think looks really nice and works quite nicely. Again, the same with the bottom. You can see the staircase effect with the 2 windows. But the reason why, as I mentioned, we have the differing spaces on both sides is because as we travel down below, it's in line with the tap. So we really wanted it to be in line with the basin, because naturally when you're using the tap and when you come to see the mirror, you're typically above the basin. And now I think we're nearing the end of the video at last, but I thought I would quickly do the door as well, because whilst the door isn't necessarily like a major part of the bathroom renovation, I did want to quickly touch on them. We've gone for matte black handles, and these actually run through the whole of our house, so they're actually kind of like a ribbed effect, which I think is quite nice. I think just a bit different, I suppose. These we got from B&Q. They're not the best quality. They're not B&Q own brand. They're like a marketplace seller on B&Q, so they're not the best quality, but like they're fine. But I think the bathroom lock is my favorite. I just absolutely love the lock detail. I think when you hope when you close it in particular, and it's literally in line with the handle, I just think it looks so good. And finally, why not mention this as I've mentioned everything else? We got these really like inexpensive door hooks from IKEA. I think there's like a pack of 2 and they're like £2 or maybe even less, and they're so good. I just popped them on top of here because we wanted to have like a robe hanging on the door and stuff like that, just in terms of practicality. But they're great. I think I'm gonna get them for like all the doors upstairs, and I think they're really good for keeping stuff behind the doors, and you can get rid of them or like remove them, which I think is great. So bathroom reveal complete. I hope you found this helpful and all of the information was useful. I feel like I spoke a lot in this video, but there's just so much I wanted to say and so many ideas and inspirations that I wanted to talk through in this video. So I hope that you did enjoy it, and I hope you found it useful and helpful. If you are after any particular links or product details or item names, have a look at the description box, because I will include everything, including the tiles we use, the grout colors we use. I'll include like things like mirrors, the taps, all of that. I will link everything in the description box down below. So definitely click show more and have a look there in case there is anything you are after. If I've missed out anything, or if you have any other questions, do just leave me a comment and I will get back to you. I'm so excited to share more of our house renovation with you. So we started off with the bathroom, but there is more to come. I think my next one may possibly be the kitchen. So if you want to see more house renovation updates and before and afters and more videos like this, then please do subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in my next video. A big thank you for watching. Bye!